All right, so.
You're in place.
Okay, so actually, let's step back. I want to start off from here, right? So as we're cutting, right, I got an axe head, you got a blade over here, right? Okay. So from here, as we're here, right, to go from here to here, that's a slow shot, right? Because you got to go from this side all the way to the other side.
Yep.
Your fastest shot, right? Come this way, your fastest shot from here is that.
I see.
Okay. Sure. So from here, because as I'm cocking back, I'm winding up with that. So as I'm reloading this.
Bang.
I'm setting that up, and then I can come
fire again.
Fire again. Yep. So that's why you gotta have a butt spike because that is your offense as you're winding up. Yep. So let's see. That's good. But this is a slow shot. From here to go to here. Yeah. That's like because I'm twisting my hands. Right. It's doable, but it's almost like you gotta have it at the end here. And almost go here.
Yeah, so that's the other thing, is learning to go back to, I mean, holding it closer to here.
Because from there, from that grip, now you can come to my other side. Right. But now to reset yourself, you got to pull back, you know. Right. So that's that. It's kind of a long distance travel. Yeah. So your fastest, from here, your fastest is to get that butt spike. Butt spike in there. Now so when we come over here, what I'm doing is a lot of times what I'm doing is, I'm beating this down, right? Exactly. Not that far. So my second fastest cut is the back cut. Right. So I come here, I beat that to the side, and from here I'm in position to back cut. Right. So
this is where I was trying to take your leg. Right. You're coming back too fast.
Yeah. Because there's two sides to this.
Yeah.
You got axe side and hammer side. Or spike. In your case, you got two blades. Yeah. So if this is here, I have to deal with this blade.
Oh yeah.
So that goes there. Yep. Right. Now here, like let's say we're over here, right? Assume that we're the same strength. Right. So here we're the same strength. We're pushing on each other, right? Let's say neither one of us can win. Right. But if I slide up, slide up, bring it. Now you've got control. My hands, I got no leverage. Right. So just by sliding up from here, now I can push down and then come back and get the back up.
Yeah, I got nothing from this point. Yeah.
So that's kind of strength. A lot of times it seems like I'm overpowering you.
Yeah. No, but you're catching it. And I was trying to initially like go with it. Yeah. So go with it and then come in, but I wasn't getting it because you're coming back too fast.
Yeah, because that's like my fastest shot. Come in and then whack with the back of the, you know. So while you're trying to get that going in some other direction, I'm already bringing the back leg back. Yep. You know. So what are the two things? I haven't seen you use the back leg.
No, because it's only Nagamaki only had blade for here, which is why you'll see me often with a sword come past and then bring it in.
Yeah, but so if you're only using one side of this, basically I've got three weapons against one weapon. Exactly. Right? Because I'm hitting you with this side, I'm hitting you with the back side, and I'm only hitting you with that. Yep. Right. And then and the other way, like I'll use the top spike, is like, let's say we're here, right? So if we meet, so here I'm out of range. I can't back cut.
Well, you got me a good one that way. You just brought it right
here,
in.
I'm just going to follow
exactly. I was like, that was so easy.
Yeah. So if I'm going to use the spike on the back blade, it depends on just what the distance is. Yep. You know, if I'm here, now I'm back cutting. If I'm here, now I'm going to stab you.
So as you advance in, basically.
Yeah, you got it. Right, because now I got to deal with this, because now you're open here. Now I got to get this on the other side. Now I'm looking to, Now here's the other thing that happens here. Come on this side over here. Sure. So extend your blade, right? So if you're righty and I'm righty, right? This is my inside, right? Yep. That's your inside. Yep. We're both strong on this defense right now, right? If I get over here, if you get over here, all this shit here is open. Right?
Yeah. I was trying to go for a couple of those or take your hand, but I couldn't do it.
Yeah, you got close. You actually tapped me. So here's the thing: if you come to this side here, right? If I attack you, you can. It's either going to be a double kill or you're going to beat me because you're traveling a shorter distance. If you get on my outside, my best thing is to come here. Exactly. Right? Because now so now I'm attacking with this. Right. So
which is why I got to learn to back up.
Right. Yeah. So when you're on my outside. This is really no longer my primary. Because when we're like this, we're like this, and you're on my inside, that's my primary. that's my secondary. Yeah. Right? When you're over here, okay, this is not my primary. Yeah. Right? This is, so I'm going to cross, now this is my secondary. Right. Okay? So which is my primary depends on which side these things match up on.
Yep.
Hello everyone, I want to talk to you guys today about what part of the poleaxe to hit people with, okay? Do you hit them with the axe? Do you hit them with the hammer? Do you poke them with this spike? Or do you poke them with the spike on the other end, okay? And a lot of times people will be like, well, if he's wearing mail, you hit him with the axe head, but if he's wearing plate armor, you're gonna use the hammer side and then use the spike, this spike to, you know, poke him in the visor, use this spike on this side over here to stab him in the feet. So if you guys have been watching my channel, I do a lot of poleaxe fighting, and the solution that I have found, which I think that people, you know, during medieval times and the Renaissance would have probably came up with the same solution. You hit people with the part that is most convenient, rather than necessarily what they're wearing, or, you know, now once you've got him on the ground, right, once you knock him unconscious, right, and even if somebody's wearing, you know, full plate, you know, the helmets on historical armor was not like the 10 pounds that we're usually wearing today, okay? They were much lighter. They were usually closer to 2 pounds, because you can't wear a 10-pound helmet on your head for too long, okay? You start getting neck aches, headaches. So normally when I fight in the videos, I'm wearing a 9-pound helmet, but I can only wear that for about 2 hours. After 2 hours, it'll start giving me a headache, okay? So historical helmets were a lot lighter than the stuff that we typically fight in today, because people had to live in it, right? They would march for months just to get to the battlefield. You know, they would have to, like, stand guard duty for, like, hours on end. So the armor had to be light, okay? That's all the armor throughout the whole body, okay? So when fighting people, right, whether I'm hitting them with this side or this side, or poking them here or poking them with this side down here, is really a matter of convenience. Now, one of the things to, let me hook this up for a second. Yeah, hook up there. Let me grab a sword. With the sword, one of the things that you'll notice is that because the handle's short, it is really easy for me to flip this around from one side to the other, right? So I can, you know, attack here, right? Come over to that side, right? So I can flip this from one side to the other pretty quickly. Okay? I mean, not just quickly, but also conveniently. Okay? With the poleaxe, okay, it is really hard for me to flip this over to this side. That is a very awkward position. Now I can kind of slide my hands. If I'm holding the grip back here and here, I can slide my hands like this. It takes a lot of torque to bring this back. This is probably my slowest shot, okay? You know, coming over to the other side like this is my slowest shot. I can make it, right? I can actually get all the way down to there, but the more I cross my arms, the more effort it takes to untangle. So usually if I'm gonna cross my arms, I'm crossing my arms just to get to this side from like shoulders and up, okay? That's as far as I'm gonna go if I'm crossing my arms. Any more than that, it's really hard for me to bring this back with any speed, and it's still my slowest shot, right? You know, to cut. And here's the thing: unlike a sword, let me put this up for a second. With a sword, right? You know, I can basically initiate a shot here and go to the other side, right? So I can fake here, go there, and I can do that very quickly. So it will actually fake people out. You cannot fake people out with a poleaxe that weighs 4 pounds and is like 6 feet long. Okay, so you're not gonna fake people out with this poleaxe, like start initiating your shot there and then going to the other side. It is not gonna work, okay? So your fake with the poleaxe is you initiate the head here and then turn your butt spike in, right? So that's the equivalent, right? All right, that's the equivalent of faking to one side and going to the other side with a sword. With the poleaxe, the fastest turnaround, right, is basically to just turn the butt spike in, okay? So you can initiate a shot there, come in with the butt spike, okay? Now, so that's your fastest shot, right? So because if you think about it, as I'm taking shots here, okay, I'm winding up, right? I gotta bring this back to take another shot. Well, this is, as I'm winding up here, I'm bringing this into position to thrust, okay? And now as this thrusts, I'm now in position to cut, okay? So thrust, cut, thrust, cut. Not that you're gonna do it in that sequence, but the point I'm trying to make is that as fast as you can go with a sword from one side to the other, you can go that fast from this end to that end down there, okay? Now, as far about hammer side versus axe side, okay? So very typically, if I'm engaging somebody, because remember, they've got some type of a pole weapon, you know, I need to deal with their weapon, right? Because the poleaxe is also my shield. So this is a very common strike that I will make. I actually get a lot of kills with this. So as they come into measure, I will block this way and then come back with the hammerhead and get my kill with that. Okay? So I'm attacking in like this, back with the hammerhead. So I actually get a lot of kills with the hammerhead as I am returning the cut. Strike there, I strike the weapon, right? Now this has enough mass that I can strike the weapon and actually knock it to the side, okay? Now, a lot of times it depends on where the placement is, okay? I want to try make contact at a point where I'm going to have the most leverage, okay? So if I can catch them a little closer to the tip, okay, a little further down on my haft, that's going to give me enough leverage to push them to the side. Now, if we end up in a bind, right, where the weapons are even, if I can just slide up a little bit, right, from here, right, slide up a little bit, that's going to give me a little bit more leverage where I can actually push their weapon just a little bit to the side, just to give me the 2 feet of space I need to accelerate back into the head, okay? So I'm going to push to the side and cut back with the hammer, and it doesn't matter whether I hit with the hammer or with the blade up here, right? Because this is a spike, usually it's bladed, but even if it's not bladed, I mean, it's a piece of steel, right? Even if this is just a solid spike, that going into the side of a helmet, it's gonna make people see stars. It will get their attention, okay? And if I don't hit them with this, it doesn't matter if I can hit them with the langets, right? So this over here, this part of the poleaxe, typically has reinforced steel. So, and it doesn't even matter if they have fore and aft langets, right? Because the side langets, are usually part of the spike head. So the langets that come to the side are part of the spike, and they will often go all the way to the edge. So it doesn't matter if it's got fore and aft langets. The fact that these langets come all the way to the edge of the axe means that these are going to make contact. So even if I hit somebody with the langets, I'm basically hitting them with the edge of the shield. So I'm sorry, the edge of the metal here, right? So a lot of times, if somebody closes in on me, right, you know, instead of hitting them with the axe head, I hit them with the langets. Hey, that's just as good, right? Hitting somebody with the langets. So again, this is also part of the weapon. And likewise, if somebody closes in, let's say I catch him here, I come back and again hit him with the langets. Okay, so which part I hit them with depends a whole lot on what distance we're at. Now, let's say I'm at max range, right? Let's say I'm at max range. If somebody comes in like this, right? We meet here. So from here, you know, I'm just going to thrust through, right? So because now that we've bound up at further distance. So here I don't have the range, right? Let's say I knock the weapon to the side. I don't have the range to come back and hit him with the hammer side or with the top spike. So from here, I'm just going to come back and thrust with the top spike. Okay, so that's a situation where I'm choosing to thrust at them simply because the head of the poleaxe is out of their range. Now let's talk about this end over here. I already mentioned that your fastest attack, right, once you make a cut, is to turn around and thrust. But a lot of times what's going to happen, a lot of times that's almost not going to be an option, because depending on which side you bind them on, right? So as long as the weapon's on this side, because now I got this axe, I got my axe is between my body and their weapon, okay? So from here, it's safe for me to cut back. If I'm going to go from this position, if I'm going to go to the spike, I have to basically hold this out, because if I bring it over to this side, they're going to thrust through, okay? So what happens a lot of times as we're fighting, right, they end up on the outside, right, on the outside. If I'm fighting right-handed, they end up on the outside here. So if they're on the outside, right, and if I try to make a cut like this, okay, I'm exposed. So if they end up on that side of my poleaxe, now I'm going to thrust, because this weapon, my poleaxe, is between, you know, my body and their weapon. Okay, so let me show it to you guys facing the camera. Okay, so if the opposing weapon, like let's say I'm fighting you, if you're on this side, right, I'm not going to turn the butt spike in, because you can see the opening, right? So I actually have to bring this all the way over in order to safely butt spike you, right? You got to bring it all the way over in order to, you know, to guard this side of my body. However, if you end up on this side, okay, if you're on this side of me, well, now even if I cut like this, you can see this gigantic opening over here, okay? So if your weapon ends up on this side here, the safest thing for me now to do is butt spike you, because I'm bringing the axe over. Your weapon's on this side, I can butt spike you, okay? So that's also one of the things that's going to determine which side of the axe, of the poleaxe I hit you with. Are you on my inside? If you're on my inside, I'm most likely going to be hitting you with the top part over here. If you get to my outside, okay, now I'm most likely going to be attacking with the butt spike end. Now, I'm fighting righty now. If I'm fighting you lefty, that flips over, right? So now if you're on this side, right, because I can block you, now I'm attacking with this end. But if you come on this side, right, I can't attack you because I'm still open. I have to bring this over to basically guard everything on this side, since your weapon's on that side, and now I can butt spike you, okay? So I just wanted to kind of point out, when I'm fighting people, okay, which part of the axe I'm going to use. It depends a lot on which side of my axe the other weapon is on. Are they on this side, or is it on this side, okay? Now, one of the options is I can also flip my hands, right? So if I don't like the side that it's over, now flipping hands, you got to be careful with that, because it's very easy to lose control of the weapon when you go to flip hands. But that can also be an option if you don't like which side the opposing weapon is on, right? So normally if I'm fighting righty, right, I'm leading with this hand here, I would rather that the weapon be on this side, because I have a much more powerful block on this side, right? I have a lot more offensive options here, whereas here all I have is a butt spike on that side. So I'd rather keep the weapon on this side. But if the weapon does end up on this side and I come over here, okay, now my main weapon is my butt spike. But if I don't like that, one of the options is to switch my hands. So now I'm leading lefty, okay? But you gotta be really careful about timing that hand switch, you know, so that you basically don't lose control of your weapon. Usually I'll take the butt spike, right? So let's say I'm fighting righty, they end up on this side. I'll throw the butt spike, right? If that causes them, let's say, to back up or go defensive, that's the second that I need to switch my hands, okay? The other option is if let's say I'm fighting righty, I throw the butt spike, they back up. Well, one of the things I can do is I can use that opportunity to get their weapon on my inside versus my outside, okay? So that's one of the things you want to be conscious of as you're fighting with the poleaxe, okay? Your inside versus your outside, right? So if I'm holding it righty, this is my inside here, this is my outside, okay? So I'd rather have the opposing weapon on this side over here. If they end up on this side over here, I'm basically fighting with the poleaxe, I'm fighting with the butt spike, all right? If I take a cut, it's going to usually, where I have to cross my hands, it's usually going to be to the head, you know, left side head or left side shoulders. You know, I really don't want to come any further down than that because I'm really crossing my hands. So it's a lot easier for me to throw the butt spike rather than cross my hands, okay? So again, you got all these different parts of the poleaxe, and a lot of times people, I think, focus on the wrong things. You use this end for these guys and that end for those guys dressed, you know, guys dressed in mail or guys dressed in plate versus guys dressed in mail or soft armor. But a lot of it has to do with your positioning as you're fighting, which part of the weapon is most accessible to you, which part of the weapon is it easier to attack your opponent in a defensive manner. Okay, that's the more important part that's going to determine which part of the weapon I'm going to use. So let me know what you guys think. Drop some comments below. I'll talk to you all soon. Yeah.